This is 40K Today. Good news. If you're listening to this, we won't have to notify the ecclesiarchy of potential heresy. You're okay. Carry on, citizen.
Welcome to 40K Today. This is your 15-minute daily news and interview show that covers the whole hobby of Warhammer 40,000. We get competitive on the tabletop. We paint, we kit bash, we talk with the best in the business. We find hobby tips from all around the globe and meet the most amazing people in our community. My name is Steve Joel. Wait a second. No, I'm Paul Murphy. Can't wait to share this time with you guys. We're going to take you all around the world and the internet to bring you the most up-to-date news, especially things that happened over the weekend about Warhammer 40K 9th edition. But first up, though, we have our live poll question up on Facebook. We're going to kick things off with that. Our 40K Today poll question for this week is, what is the most iconic tank? Is it the Leman Russ? Is it the Land Raider? Do you have a third option? We want to hear it, but I think those first two, really, when we think of tanks in the 41st millennium, that's what our mind goes to. What do you think is the best? Which is it, folks? Amazing stuff continues to come out over the weekend. We check in with Alex Bainter, who has scoured the internet for the best of the best information and boiled it down for us. Let's hear it.
All right, Alex, welcome back to the show. It's always good to have you. There's a lot going on this weekend, and we want to get to it just as quick as we can. So why don't we start off with some of the pre-orders? There's a current pre-order that has a lot of awesome stuff on it in case people missed it.
Yeah, so the current pre-order right now is the new Psychic Awakening book, Engine War, and that includes multiple factions. It includes all of the Chaos Demon factions, Chaos Knights, and Imperial Knights, and Adeptus Mechanicus.
Cool. So they're all getting updated rules, which are supposed to be compatible with 9th edition, which is huge sigh of relief for everyone, right? Because, you get to bring all those codexes forward. So that's exciting. And I know Engine War has been sort of on top of mind for quite a while. It's nice to see the pre-order finally come through. But there's a lot more than just the book on the pre-order, right?
Yeah, a ton of new models are coming out with this guy. So we've got a new Tech Priest. We have the horse guys, the cavalry guys. We have some
those
flyers.
guys are awesome, by the way. They have fire-breathing horses, people. You can't miss the fire-breathing horses.
They have some like shock assault guys that have some cool like flying jump pack kind of deal, and a new flyer as well.
The flyer, I think, is the thing that I am most excited about. It looks so awesome. It kind of looks like something that would come right out of a Da Vinci drawing, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just got a really unique, really cool style about it. And it looks like it's going to be pretty good on the battlefield too. We got a few little teasers about it. So you guys should definitely check that out on the pre-order. If you've ever thought about getting into Adeptus Mechanicus, it seems like a really good time. From what I understand, the Psychic Awakening rules are going to make them very competitive, and they have all these really cool, really evocative models. They look awesome. But that wasn't the only news, was it, Alex?
Yeah, so we've got some new action figures coming out. These action figures are going to be 7 inches tall, and there's going to be 3 of them. We have 2 Primaris guys. One of them is the it's the what is it called? The Assault Intercessor. Yep, Assault Intercessor with the chainsword and the bolt pistol, and a unpainted normal Primaris Intercessor, and a Necron Warrior, one of the new ones too.
And I think what's really cool about these miniatures, or not miniatures, I guess, these are actually action figures, is they're being made by Todd McFarlane Toys, which I don't know how many of you have crossed over into that world, but Todd McFarlane makes some really sweet toys, people. They typically have a lot of articulation points and are very, very, very colorful, and they look great. And for those of you who don't know who Todd McFarlane, you're like, who's this Todd McFarlane guy? He's only the guy that created Spawn and also did a lot of work at Marvel at one time. So that's exciting. And I really hope that they do well so that they come out with some future action figures as well, because I personally would love to have an Eldar Farseer on my desk. I just think that would look so freaking cool. But that's me. So sorry. All right, well that's cool. That's all on this week's pre-order, but they actually have a pre-order coming out for next week too, right?
Yeah, so next week's pre-order is going to be a new like expansion or a new core rule box for the Aquanauta Imperialis game. And this box set is going to feature the Imperial Navy and the Tau, or the Tau Navy, however you want to say that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Aeronatica Imperialis. It's another standalone game. But what I think is interesting and something that maybe our listeners would like to think about is all of these models, Adeptus Titanicus, the Aeronautical models, and now the Aquanauta models all are in the same scale. So I wonder if they're sort of building up to releasing like that scale of game, which would be really cool. I missed the old Epic. You probably never got a chance to play that, Alex, but it was a fantastic game.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I've seen the little tiny models, and that looks awesome.
They are really cute. Okay, last thing, I saw that Games Workshop put up an article about 9 ways to prepare for 9th edition. Do you want to give people a quick summary of that? And then we'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, so quick summary. 1, finish painting your current army. I know we all have a big pile of, they call it the pile of shame or the pile of gray. So finish the current army. The second way is start another army, which is always good, you know. You can't have too much plastic. Read up on your books. Read the lore, read the rules. Just familiarize yourself with that stuff. Practice playing the game, because from what we've heard, the game isn't going to change that much. It's more like an 8.5 and not really like a 9th edition.
Right. All the core rules are going to stay pretty much intact. You know, there's going to be some tweaks around some rules in particular, like make you train a little better, stuff like that. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah. And speaking of terrain, increase your terrain. You just as much as like models, it's always good to have more terrain, you know?
Yep. Sounds like there's a lot of great tips in that article. We'll make sure and link it for our listeners. Thanks, Alex, for swinging by, and thanks for keeping us abreast of what's on the news.
That was Alex. Thanks a lot. As always, the links will be in the show notes. Please check them out.
Today's episode of 40K Today is brought to you by Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming is a one-stop shop for all your Warhammer hobby needs, discounted products, American-made gaming mats and terrain, and a full line of miniatures painting service and daily hobby content. And this can all be found at frontlinegaming.org.
Welcome back. As things continue to evolve, we've got some exciting information for you. There is a completely online league taking place on Tabletop Simulator. Trevy tells us all about it. You can find this in BCP. I think there's still ways to participate. It's worth checking out, especially if you can't get out and play right now in your local area.
All right, Trevy, welcome back to 40K Today. We're excited to have you. You have a huge announcement that I'm a minor part of, so let's get to that first. What is your announcement?
Yeah, John, it's super exciting, and that is that the Tabletop Simulator 40K League that I've been running previously, which we called T5S2, which is short for the Tactical Tortoise Tabletop Simulator Tournament Series, has been moved from basically just an independent league to a global circuit. What that means is that we're working with Best Coast Pairings to use their rankings engine and report all of the T5S2 events, as well as be able to generate tokens for other Tabletop Simulator events. So any events that you play in could be eligible to receive points to rank you in the T5S2 standings and qualify you for our invitational tournaments, the first of which is going to be this August.
So what's cool about that is we'll also be able to track stats amongst all the players in the T5S2 tournament circuit, which means we'll have stats for online players versus stats for the live game players. So it'll make for some really interesting discussions, right? There'll be a lot of things we can do sort of comparing the metas. Like maybe in one meta, we see a lot more, hordes or something. It'll just be interesting to see how the different metas sort of diverge, because they will, I think, because of the difference in availability of models, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to be able to have the metrics to compare the two versions. And I think we're going to have a lot of data points to point at in future discussions when looking at Tabletop Simulator. Obviously, tabletop simulator events have exploded over the last couple weeks, and we're going to continue to. I think they're going to continue to do so. We're running between 2 and 3 tournaments a week over at Tactical Tortoise. So if you haven't joined up there, you can actually join up on our new website at tts40k.com, and that has all the information about the league and how you can join events. But also, there's a bunch of other groups running events. The Quarantine Open is a GT that's just about to launch. That'll run all the way through June. Quarantine Hammer is another online community that's also running events, all of which are eligible for T5S2 points. So there's just tons of events going on constantly, and we're going to be able to gather statistics on all of those.
Well, that's exciting, but that's not the only news we have, right? You and I started a little project together that sort of coincides with this. We started a Twitch channel.
Yeah, so you and I have been working together underneath the Art of War brand to bring really high quality tabletop simulator content to Twitch. So we are working with the new Twitch channel, Art of War Plugged In, also known as AOWPI.
Yep, you can come find us there. We're going to be doing lots of cool stuff. Obviously, we'll be picking out some of the best games from the T5S2 league. Sorry, it's too confusing, Trevy. I'm sorry. But we're going to be getting a lot of those competitive games and showcasing them. There's a lot of really well-known players that are sort of bebopping around in there. So, and then also a lot of the Art of War coaches, we'll be able to get them onto the stream to get some really high-level play and sort of focus on that. But we're not only going to be doing competitive play. So if a lot of you already just stopped listening because you're like, I'm not a competitive player, I don't care about any of that, we got stuff for you too. Trevy and I are going to start running some narrative events on TTS, starting with a Crusade narrative event after 9th edition gets released, and we know what the rules are. that's kind of the important.
Yeah, that is a big caveat for sure.
Yeah, that is a caveat. But and we'll be streaming that right away, and we're looking for people to play in that. So if you're interested, sort of hit us up and we'll tell you what that's all about. But what do you think, Trevy? Like, what's going to differentiate our sort of streaming channel versus maybe some other content out there?
Yeah, so what we want to do is sort of elevate the level of tabletop simulator play for everyone to the highest level that it can be. Not only is that going to be just showcasing really good games and really competitive games, but it's also going to be things like how to build. We're going to cover map creation. We're going to cover some of the cool artistic effects that you can do on your models in TTS. And we're just going to do general tutorials on the most efficient ways to build lists and spawn things in TTS, as well as showcase some cool 40K mods that we find and use on the Steam Workshop.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest things, you sort of brushed over it, but you hit on it, which is the maps. The maps we're going to build are going to have like straight up lighting effects and particle effects in them. So it's going to look more like playing an RTS game than it is necessarily like a tabletop game, because we have these advantages of being in TTS. We really want to showcase that, right? We want to be able to make those maps pop, so to speak.
Yeah. One of the obviously TTS has a ton of advantages. It's in its own sort of list of strengths, and one of them is that you can create games in TTS of 40K that are so much more immersive than just your normal games at the local game store of tabletop 40K. If you go and you play at a tournament or you play just on a Warhammer night, a lot of times there'll be broken terrain, there'll be unpainted models, and sometimes the experience isn't 100% there. But on TTS, we have none of that. We can spruce up our models, we can create incredible boards that you can play on over and over again, and you don't have to set up and take down every time. And the ability to sort of become immersed in that experience, I think, is much greater on TTS, and we really want to show people that and bring it to a live stream audience.
All right, well, I'm pumped, so make sure you go check out the AOWPI Twitch channel, which will be linked in the show notes, and the T5S2 League, which will also be linked in the show notes.
That was Trevy from Tactical Tortoise. Got a great YouTube channel. Check it out. You can see some of these games being streamed. When I said we were going to bring you the best from around the internet, I was not kidding. Today's model of the day comes from Bagel Paints on Instagram.
It's the model of the day,
The model of the day, the model of the day.
These are some jaw-dropping Dark Angel aggressors. Please check out his Instagram. You're going to be amazed. The color contrast here, the model itself absolutely jumps out of the picture, and that's really hard to do with some of these colors, but they have nailed it. If you're looking to strike fear and heretics all over the galaxy, you might want to check out this recipe. And that's it for today, everybody. A big thanks to our content producer, Alex Bainter, and our technical producer, Seamus Ronan, for all the hard work that they do behind the scenes, putting on this program. It is not easy to do a daily show. Please leave us 5-star reviews wherever you can, wherever you listen to us. Click that, whatever that max review is. Thumbs up. Thanks for listening to me. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, for the 40K Today team, I'm Paul Murphy, and that's what's happening at 40K Today.